What's up, folks? How y'all doing? Tonight's video is going to be a bit of an unpopular one, and it's not one that I tend to do. I am of the opinion that Christianity has been beaten to a fucking pulp, and it's about time that we go after the Beetlejuice and the Fuzzy Muzzies for very good reasons, and sometimes for obvious ones too. However, I got a little bit of a stinky bone to pick on with Christian morality. Okay, so I got to give my so-called hot take on this. I find it deplorable. I find it disgusting. I do find it to be no different, not that much different, probably parallel or adjacent to leftism. Leftism could also be almost like seen as a fucking religion. You know, you step out of line, you have to apologize, go through that self-humiliating ritual, and no matter how, no amount of apologies will ever redeem you. So you're basically an outcast as soon as that shit fucking happens. But if there's one thing that I find disgusting about Christian morality, and it's kind of in line with leftists when it goes unchallenged, lack of critical thinking, just not controlled, not measured at all, it would have to be tolerance, I would say. There's a bit of a tolerance that I don't like. And I don't know if tolerance might be the right word, but this is the only thing I could compare it to. When I see this of Erica Kirk forgiving her dead husband's killer, that didn't sit well with me, actually. That did not sit well with me. Because there's a bigger context, and as a fucking adult, she has spent her life. You're gonna get married, okay? Let me try to envision their marriage for a sec, right? They made their vows till death do you part in sickness and in health, right? Then you have 2 kids on top of it. I think one is 4, the other one is 6, and I'll get to the kids in a bit. You created this family. I'm going to give her a bit of grace in this instance where I think she supported in his endeavors. I like to think she had supported her other half in risking his physical security to talk to other people. So she was very much made aware of this. I wouldn't see in what universe or what context as to why he wouldn't let her know about the things that he would be doing, going on college campuses and universities, probably debating, challenging, talking to individuals of like minds or opposite minds. So I'm no stranger to that. There's a connection there. There's something going on. But what doesn't sit well with me is you forgive the dude that killed your other half. I don't know how somebody could just sit there and accept that. Now, I thought of something kind of fucked up. I'm not in her head, but the reason why I say this is because if you're like me who embraces the absurdity and the irrationality as part of it, you have to accept that. You have to accept that there are people that will definitely think differently than you, and in terms of coping with death. Now, in coping with death, everybody deals with it differently. So in my mind, the reason why she forgave the guy is because so she doesn't have any feelings that's going to, I would say, probably harden her and not move on. That's what I think. Maybe I'm psychoanalyzing it too much. So that way, that she's starting her grieving process. Now, in my mind, the magnitude of your husband's death, the whole turning the cheek thing, doesn't work for me, personally. I am my own God. I embrace my inner divinity. And I follow my own constitution, ethics, and guidelines. I don't follow a Bible. I follow guidelines because guidelines are just easier than just going about it because something was said in a book. I don't know if this was said in a book, but it has to do with forgiveness. This is what I mean by maybe tolerant is not the right word, but she forgave her husband's killer. If this was me, I wouldn't have accepted such a thing. The composure that she had, I think the day after that the incident happened, when she broke her silence, I wouldn't have maintained the composure as she would have. I would have been the one to commit such a lethal act upon the guy who took his life away. Because how fucking dare you, that's why. You're a brainwashed idiot that thought it was perfectly fine to kill somebody because you didn't like what they're about. Don't give a fuck that you don't like Christians. Don't give a fuck that you don't like the repubs, my dude. You should have mind your business. And if you want to take a fucking gun, you take a fucking gun to the shooting range and you take your anger out properly through there, through healthy means. Shooting a target is not the same thing as shooting a person. Now, if you wanted to shoot a picture of Charlie Kirk on the target, be my guest. But the fact that this guy went out of his way to fucking do that just goes to show that he's a messed up motherfucker. And the reason behind it is not only dangerous, but at the same time, it's pathetic. But what I find pathetic is Christian morality. Turn the other cheek. Guess what? You're eventually gonna lose cheeks regardless. So fuck that shit. Why the hell would I want to show grace to this motherfucker? I would say no. There's no redemption for you. In my world, I'm playing judge, jury, and fucking executioner. You're getting the death penalty, my friend, and I sincerely hope that they're going to go about it that way. Up until this point, I'm not sure. Malak, you're getting the death penalty. An eye for an eye in that case. My spiritual path allows me to recognize that there are people in this world that are miserable and they want to go about it. That's their free will. That's their freedom. Let them fucking suffer. Let them hex themselves. You don't have to do the work all the time. People have a self-destruction mode for a reason. Let them at it. But it didn't have to be at the point of somebody's death, though. Well, what's the reason? Because I don't like Christians. Because I don't like that he's a repub. Well, that's a pathetic reason. This guy is not in office. This guy's not making policy. If this guy was making policy, it would probably be a bit of a different story. If he was an actual fucking tyrant like Cuban Fabio, or Chrystia Freeloader, or Comrade Carney, or Lego, for fuck's sakes. Yes, I know I'm comparing Canadians versus Americans, but really at this point, what's the fucking difference? Oh, a border. What border? No, seriously, what border? Canada doesn't have a northern border. I don't think it ever did. So, come on in, guys. There's plenty of room. I mean, more north you go, yeah, that's definitely the case, but anyways, he's just another dude. He was just another fucking dude, Charlie Kirk. In the conservative sphere. But I'm sorry, this Christian morality thing is disgusting to me. Turn the other cheek. No, fuck that. Fuck that shit. But going back to the guidelines, I'm glad that I have a spiritual path that gives me the option to fucking realize that sometimes cruelty is fucking merited. It's merited. I want people to know further that you fuck with me, I fuck with you. You want to turn me into a prey, I'm gonna be that predator to make sure you're gonna be my fucking prey. I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna be the one to be hunted, because I'll be the hunter. Now, I'm saying all this because I'm trying to insinuate a point here. I'm trying to say that in this analogy, you're not getting me. You're not getting no fucking forgiveness. You're not getting a second chance. Your chance was every step that you fucking got and every opportunity to turn the dial off. To not take those guns and shoot him. You made that decision, Malak. You made that decision. They're supposed to be, well, we have laws on the books, but are they actually enforced? To not murder somebody. Well, you better have a very good fucking reason. What's your reason to murder this dude? I just don't like his views, man. Well, I'd like to see that in your lovely manifesto. I would love to have seen that. But again, this Christian morality thing, I find it weird. I find it bizarre and disgusting. Now, I'm not saying that this is the whole of it, but those that actually lean into this side of forgiveness and morality, I find these Christians to be weak. I find these types of people to be gullible and weak. They're not that much different than leftists. And it's just gross to me. You're gonna forgive your husband's killer. Really. But then again, I have something in the back of my mind that something is telling me, and this could just be me being a little bit conspiratorial because sometimes I tend to go down a bit of these rabbit holes. Is she just saying that just to save face? Maybe did she want him fucking dead? I don't know, that's just me. Because there's something about that seems a little bit off. Like, it just, something feels weird to me about it. That you're just accepting the fact, oh yeah, well, he's dead. It's like, no. If that guy did not make that move, he would still be alive today. I wouldn't stop hearing about Charlie Kirk the last 2 weeks. Now again, this is just me. I'm not saying this is factual. I'm putting outrageous stuff out there because it is a little bit... the whole thing is fucking outrageous. It's absurd. It's fucking absurd, y'all. I embrace it, but I have to ask questions. Is this just her way of coping? Or is there something a little bit more sinister behind it? Me personally, I have no fucking clue. Because to me, there's something a little bit off with the latter than the former. It sounds a little bit fucking outrageous, but Christian morality in this sense is retarded. And I really highly suggest you guys don't lean into stuff like that. You just don't. Stay away from that shit. If you're just content with the idea that this guy is burning in hell and okay, go about your bad self. But personally, Christian morality doesn't work for me. This isn't my flow. It's not my thing. It's just, if I applied that in my life, I would be going through a lot of self-hatred right now, and it would fuck with my mental health. It's like, what the hell am I doing? I would feel weak. It's like, why? Why do I have to forgive somebody that all they had to do was choose to not pick up the gun and shoot the guy? That's all you had to do, was just not shoot them. Do something more productive. But this is not a normal situation because, well, really nothing's normal. But in the case of this conversation, this isn't anything fucking normal. Like, in a normal circumstance, if you're that consumed that you have to go out and do such a thing, well, then clearly something's wrong with you. But at the same time, on her part, I cannot accept such a thing. It's like, wow, Christian forgiveness. Gross. Fucking disgusting. And I did mention something about the kids, though. Because you know how the government likes to use, think of the kids, think of the kids. I cannot imagine what those poor kids are going through. I'm not a mom. Clearly. Fortunately, I have maternal instinct, so I have that monkey on my fucking back. I don't know how old they are. I think they're 4 and 6. And Charlie was a young guy. Like, he's just a couple years younger than me. He only lived 31 years. He got married. He had 2 kids. I think that might have been the definition of success in his eyes, at least interpersonally, relationally. And politically speaking, he had positively affected millions of people, even if they're not Christian or anything. And I cannot imagine how those kids are going to process their father's death. That it just happened right in front of their fucking eyes. It's like, how much scarring that would have done for them and how they're going to process it as they get older. It's one thing for Erica, she's an adult. And it's obviously the first time that has fucking happened. Like, it's a different story for her. Everybody's going to cope with it differently, and everybody deals and remembers a situation that happened. Like, you know how you have your sibling, you were raised under the same roof, but you experience things differently with your parents compared to the other person? I cannot imagine what's going to happen with them as they get older. As you know, think of the kids, right? Those kids are going to need a lot of affection and support. So, I really don't know. Not that I'm saying I'm worried, but I am a little bit concerned about that because, like, in my mind, hey, mom just forgave dad's killer. That doesn't sit well with me. Personally, it doesn't sit well with me at all. Now, people could argue the same thing. Well, if that was you, Maiden, and you wanted to be the one, being the judge, jury, and executioner, and you had kids, I'd be concerned too. Yeah, I understand it. I get it. But I'm just saying this from my own opinion. I cannot imagine what those kids are going through and what they're going to think as they grow up and really start to understand the scope and understanding the world a little bit more broadly as I'm starting to understand. You gain that gnosis and that wisdom. So, those kids better be having a good support system for the time being. But honestly, this video is not so much about Christian morality, but it does pose as a problem. So, yeah, I'm just gonna end it here. I don't like this Christian morality thing. If you're gonna lean into the whole forgiveness right away thing, not cool, dude. Not cool. It's gross, it's pathetic, and it's just disgusting to me. Not a fan of it. Peace out.